Alright, this is funny. This is the second time that I'm recording this. Had a perfectly good first video, but I deleted it on accident, so hopefully this one goes smooth. Before I get into the video, let's talk about two things I want to plug. The first being the Patreon group. If you're interested in one-on-one lessons with me over video, sending me clips to critique, or joining in on our Q&As that we have a couple times a month, consider joining the Patreon. There's a link below, and thank you so much to everybody who has supported. The second thing that I want to mention is Collage Skateboards, my brand. We're getting to the close of our video. I've already started to edit it, and we want to do more and more cool things. The boards are great. I don't really break boards. It's crazy. Like, I've broken so many boards over the course of my career, I don't break them as much anymore. We got that part dialed in, and we have amazing graphics, in my opinion, made by my wife. So check those out. You can get them through Club Distribution, linked below as well. Now let's get into the meat of today's video. What we're going to talk about is an issue that I've been noticing with my students, and I've seen it over the years quite a bit. I've noticed that a lot of times when my students get to 2 points, there's the shove-it and there's the kickflip. They're struggling to commit, and we've talked about a commitment a little bit on this channel before, but this is like pretty unique because these are plateaus that every skater experiences in the beginning. What I noticed, a lot of my students that are learning how to shove it, they'll get the rotation all the way down, they'll be able to do it all the time, and they'll start to land with their front foot on the board, but their back foot will just drop. Now I've noticed the opposite with the kickflip, where they'll get to the point where they can flip the board over most of the time, they'll land on it with their back foot, and their front foot will just pull away from the board and land on the ground. So first, let's talk about why this is happening, because that's pretty important in the context of what we're going to talk about. We as human beings have really good self-preservation instincts, right? That's why we're so successful as a species. And when you're doing something dangerous like skateboarding, which skateboarding is very, very dangerous, or at least it can be, there's a part of you, your subconscious, that just doesn't want you to do it. And what I've noticed over the years that I've been teaching and as I've been skating is that the first 2 or 3 years of you skating, you're learning tricks, you're learning how to move your body, sure. But you're really, another big thing that you're learning is how to take control and how to not be afraid, and that skateboarding is actually safe enough for you to do it. And when you're trying these novel tricks, so when you're first learning the shove-it and you get the board to come around, the reason you're not putting your back foot on is because something in your brain is stopping you. Like, hey, you're going to kill us, so it's my job to protect us, and it just doesn't let you put that foot up there. I'm sure you guys have noticed this with other things you've tried where you're like, I can do this. It's really scary. Like maybe you try to do a backflip or something. And I remember when I was first trying them, a lot of the times when I fell because I would tell myself I was going to commit, and you got to turn your head over first and lead with your head and commit. And then I would go and I would just stop out of fear. It's like a paralysis. And then I wouldn't rotate and I'd fall and eat it. And that self-preservation thing in my head actually caused me to, I never got seriously hurt, thankfully, but to hurt myself. And this is the same thing that's happening with those shove-its. So a way that I've combated this with shove-its is, first of all, you got to do what I do when I'm struggling with a more difficult trick. So let's say I haven't done like a nollie heel flip crooked grind on a rail, right? It's been a while. And I've done them on ledges. I might have done one first try on a ledge. As soon as I go to that rail, I've nollie crooked it already. I've done a bunch of nollie heels on flat. I might have nollie heeled the little set of stairs, the rail's down. I can't get myself to commit. I have to remind myself, and that might involve me doing like 10 nollie heels on flat and doing another crooked grind on the rail, and then another nollie crooked grind on the rail. I have to remind myself that I am in control of the skateboard, and whatever happens is the result of what I'm doing. And I have the necessary experience to make this trick happen, and I don't have to be afraid of it, and I have to steel myself to be able to commit to the trick. So that's the first step, is your mental preparation while you're attempting the trick. And the other thing is, with my students, when they're learning these shove-its, what's often helped me get them to land them is I'll take a slow motion video of them trying the shove-it, and when we see that their front foot's landing on the board and their back foot just drops to the ground, we'll stop, and then I'll allow them to take a slow motion video of me. And I'll land it staggered. So I'll do the shove-itting with the back foot. Usually you have to propel yourself forward to meet up with your board because your sweep isn't strong enough to keep the board underneath you. So I'll jump a little bit forward. I'll land with my front foot and lift my back foot up and hold it until my back foot's down, then drop it. So it's a kind of staggered motion. Then we'll watch both of the videos, both of the slow motion videos. They'll see what they're doing and see what I'm doing, and see that there's not that much difference. And I'll have them talk in their head and convince themselves every single try, I'm going to commit to this. I'm going to land with my front foot and then allow my back foot to drop. And only when my front foot's on the board, on the ground, will I allow my back foot to drop on the board. And this usually helps, and they're able to land it. Now the kickflip is a little bit more difficult, because this is the first time you're flipping the board over, identifying when it's flipped, and then landing on it. And that just makes it scary. But you got to remember, your brain inside, your subconscious, is just telling you not to land on that thing because it doesn't know what's going on. It's having a hard time processing the flip. For me, when I do a kickflip, it almost feels like time is slowing down because I've done so many of them. For you, it's breezing by and your brain's not identifying the different stages of the board flipping and all that. The only way that that's going to happen is for you to start landing them, and then for you to land a ton of them. So oftentimes when your front foot comes away, like, you don't know that you're doing it, but you're leaning away from the board as it's flipping, and that's why your back foot stays there and lands on it and your front foot doesn't. So what you have to start to do to adjust it is to lean over towards your toe side. And what I had someone do recently, and he didn't roll away from his kickflip after this, but he did land on top of it and fall off, which we can't really control that because obviously kickflips are difficult, but he at least landed on the kickflip with both feet before he fell off. I had him start to lean over so that he wasn't leaning heel side like a lot of people learning kickflips tend to do. And then we just worked on him flipping the board up over halfway and landing on top of the bottom of the board. So when the trucks were facing up. And he was able to do this, and then he was able to do it over and over and over again. And then we tried to do the kickflip again with the same posture, the full flip. And he was able, it took him like more than 10 tries to do it, but he landed on top of the grip tape with both feet, and then the board rolled and he slipped, which this is probably what's going to happen. It's what happened to me landing my first kickflips. I was landing on top of them and slipping off, but this got him a lot of progress with that kickflip. And now for you guys who are not beginners at this level, you might think that this isn't applicable for you, but like I mentioned with the nollie heel flip crook example earlier, it is. And it's like difficulty is relative. So you might be learning how to kickflip crook. And for you, a kickflip crook is as difficult as it is for this person who's at an earlier stage of their skating to do just a kickflip. You can apply the same process where you know what you need to do. You know that you're doing a kickflip and you're kickflipping into a crooked grind. And you've done these tricks over and over again, kickflips and crooked grinds. Otherwise, you wouldn't be at this point. Remind yourself how your posture needs to be. Remind yourself that you've done kickflips over and over again. Go through the motions in your head every time you're going to try the trick. I still do this today when I'm doing a more difficult trick. So if I'm doing a kickflip crook, even though I can do them first try a lot of the times, I'm still going over what's necessary in my head. I'm still trying to think up the examples of people doing them that I have in my head before I do the trick as well. And this should help you out. So that's all I've got today. I'm going to cross my fingers that I'm not a moron and don't delete the video again, because I had another version of this that I recorded, and I used this this cool tube preamp that I used to record music and to record my vocals for music, but I was rewatching it and deleted it accidentally. So now I'm straight in through the camera mic. I'm sure the sound won't be that bad, but get out there and skate, and I hope these tips help you guys at whatever level you're at. And if you have something that you want to ask me specifically and you want me to cover, consider joining that Patreon group. I just uploaded the first Q&A video for November today. And if you join, you'll be able to watch it, and you'll be able to leave me questions in the comments of that video, which I will answer in the next one early next week. Peace.